Assalamu alaikum students. Hope all of you are fine by the grace of Almighty Allah. Welcome to our today's science class. Today I am going to teach about photosynthesis and the objectives of our today's lessons are: why can a plant make its own food but an animal cannot? Why is needed for photosynthesis to happen? And how do plants make food and store food? Why do plants need so much water? And can plants live in the dark? And finally, why are plants mostly green? And hopefully, after ending of our today's lesson, and you will have all of the answers. Um, Food intake is the main characteristics of any living organism, but no other organisms can produce their own food except green plants. And okay, and what a plant needs to make their own food. And at first, a plant needs air and light from sun and water and nutrients. What parts a plant do? And let's start with the leaves. The leaves use a process called photosynthesis to produce food for the plant. They use light, water, and carbon dioxide to do this. And then the roots take up water and nutrients from the soil. They also keep the plants in the ground. And look at this animated picture. This picture shows you the transportation of water molecules and different nutrients mm, from the soil through root to the rest of the part of the leaves. And the stem transports water and nutrients to all parts of the plant. That means the roots take up water and nutrients from the soil, and then the stem transports water and nutrients to all parts of the plant. Now, take a recap. What does the plant need to grow? Try to remember, students. Uh, a plant needs to grow air, sunlight, water, and nutrients. Now we have to know, how does the plant use these resources to grow? And at first, take a close look on photosynthesis. This is the process by which plants can produce their own food. Photosynthesis is when food provides a source of energy for living things, enabling them to grow and survive. Photosynthesis is the process by which plants can make their own food. And the word photosynthesis is actually has two parts: photo, that means light, and synthesis means to make or put together. So it means to use light to make something, in that case food. That means in plants, to use light to make food. Let's take a close look on leaves. The leaves on plants and trees are the food factories, and this is also known as the kitchen of the plant. And the leaves are green because they contain chlorophyll. And the chlorophyll is a green substance that plants use to capture light, energy from the sun. Chlorophyll is very important. Without chlorophyll, plants cannot use the sunlight energy to make food. And also, oxygen levels in the air will go down. If that happens, plants and animals will suffocate. Now have a close look on chlorophyll and chloroplast. This is the structure of chloroplasts. Chlorophyll is a chemical found in the chloroplasts of plants that allows the plant to absorb light. Chlorophyll is a green pigment found in almost all plants and algae. Chlorophyll is vital for photosynthesis. It's very important for photosynthesis, which allows plants to obtain energy from light. Now about chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are considered organelles in plant cells. It's a very important organelles of plant cells, and it is absent in animal cells. Okay, organelles are special structure in cells that perform specific functions, and chloroplasts are unique structures found in plant cells that specialized in converting sunlight into energy that plants can use, and this process is called photosynthesis. That means for photosynthesis, chloroplasts are very vital. Now it's about stomata. The plant absorbs or takes in carbon dioxide from the air through little holes. These holes are found all over the plant, mostly under the leaves. Look at this picture. These leaves, under these leaves, these tiny holes are present. Number of tiny holes are present, which are known as stomata. And these holes also allow other gases and waters to enter or leave the plant. They do the same job as your mouth or nose when you breathe, and the same job as the pores of your skin when you sweat. And look at this animated picture. You can see here, during the photosynthesis, carbon dioxide gases intake by plants and through these holes, and also during the photosynthesis respiration process, carbon dioxide gas give out and oxygen is taken by these stomata. And also in during the transpiration, water molecules are as vapor form, give out from the plant leaves from the plants through these stomata. Okay, and that means stomata are tiny openings or pores in plant tissue that allow for gas exchange. Specialized cells known as guard cells surround the stomata and function to open and close stomatal pores. That means guard cells are responsible for to open and close stomatal pores. Stomata allow a plant to take in carbon dioxide, which is needed for photosynthesis. Now take a look on carbon dioxide and water. We know plants take in carbon dioxide from the air, and the carbon dioxide is combined with water using energy absorbed from the sun. And this is the chemical reaction of this chemical change, which happens during the photosynthesis. This carbon dioxide, which is obtained from the animals breathe in and out, and this is the water obtained from the soil, and this is the light which comes from the sunlight, and in presence of chlorophyll, which is present in the leaves. And here product is glucose, that means sugar, and carb and a huge amount of oxygen is released in this reaction. Okay, that means carbon dioxide plus water in presence of light and chlorophyll produce glucose and oxygen. When the carbon dioxide and water is combined, it creates a sugar called glucose. This is the formula of glucose, and this is the formula of water, H2O. carbon dioxide CH2, and the 666 means 6 carbon dioxide molecule reacts with 6 water molecules in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll and produce 1 molecule of glucose and 6 molecule of oxygen. But don't be afraid, these formulas are not included in your syllabus. You don't need to remember this or memorize this. Okay, and this is our photosynthesis reaction. This is the chemical change which happens during the photosynthesis process in plant. And now about glucose. Glucose is used for respiration or converted to a starch and stored in animal and in plant body. Okay, that means glucose, and this glucose is the main source of our energy. Okay, for our all physiological activities. This glucose supplies the energy which we use for all physiological activities. And after glucose is made, the plant releases oxygen and back into the air. Okay, and that's why plants are called producers, because they can produce their own food. Look at this picture. From soil, water takes water, and from sunlight, light is used, and in this leaf, in the presence of chlorophyll, carbon dioxide is also taken by the uh, plant leaves through the stomata, and after the reaction, after the photosynthesis reaction, oxygen is released into the air. And plants are called producers because they can produce their own food, but animals cannot are not able to go through this process. Okay, and that's why they are not able to produce their own food. They are totally dependent on plants for their foods, plants and other animals for their foods. And that's why that means plant respiration is the process of plants using up the sugars made through photosynthesis and turning them into energy for growth, reproduction, and other life processes. And now take a look on the carbon dioxide and oxygen cycle. We know when we breathe in, you take in oxygen, and also when you breathe out, you release carbon dioxide. And this carbon dioxide, a plant takes in this carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, and then the plant releases oxygen, and this oxygen is again taken by animals. Okay, and this is the carbon dioxide and oxygen cycle, and closely related to two process. One is photosynthesis and another is respiration. Now, this is the quiz time. Let's try to solve some quizzes. Okay, the reactors in the photosynthesis equation are: A, glucose plus oxygen, carbon dioxide plus glucose, carbon dioxide plus water, oxygen plus water. And try to remember, students, we have already discussed about that. The correct answer is the reactants. That means the ingredients with which we start the reaction, the photosynthesis process, and these are carbon dioxide from air and water from soil. That means the correct answer is C. Okay, now question number 2. The products of photosynthesis are: which one the product? That means the right side ingredients. Okay, and which the A is oxygen plus glucose, B is carbon dioxide plus glucose, C oxygen plus water, and D carbon dioxide plus glucose. Try to remember the photosynthesis reaction. Then you can remember this. The right answer is oxygen and produce it during photosynthesis reaction. Glucose, that means sugar, is produced and oxygen is released into the air. Is the That's why A is the right answer. The next is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis takes place in the ribosomes, nucleus, chloroplasts, vacuoles. And I think all of you can answer this question. This is chloroplast. The right answer is chloroplast. The next question is the green pigment inside the chloroplast is called chlorophyll, B chloroplasm, chloroform, or chlorine. Chlorine and chloroform are two chemicals. These are not the right answer, but we know chlorophyll is the right answer. Now, the holes in a leaf that allow diffusion of gas are called potota, passata, stomata, or stomata. The right answer is stomata. The holes in a leaf that allow diffusion of gas, that means carbon dioxide and oxygen and water vapor, these holes are known as stomata. The next one is the stomata are opened and closed by A. Protect cells, and B. Guard cells, C. Keeping cells, and D. Police cells. The right answer is guard cells. The stomata are opened and closed by guard cells. Okay, their opening and closing is controlled by guard cells. The next one is water is absorbed into the plant from the soil by shoots, B. Root hair cells, C. Leaf cells, and D. Stem. We have already learned about that in chapter 4 also. The root hair cells are responsible for the absorption of water from the soil. Okay. The next MCQ is name the green pigment found in plants. Chloroplast, chlorophyll, cellulose, and cytoplasm. The right answer is chlorophyll. The pigment is chlorophyll. Chloroplast is the organelles. Okay. The correct equation for photosynthesis is glucose plus oxygen, carbon dioxide plus water. This is wrong. Glucose to lactic acid. This is also wrong. Glucose plus carbon dioxide, oxygen, and water is produced. This is not correct. The D, carbon dioxide and water reacts with each other and produce glucose and oxygen. This is the right answer. What type of energy is required to activate photosynthesis? Very good question and easy also. I think all of you can answer this question. One kinetic energy, two thermal energy, C light energy, and D potential. The correct answer is light energy. The next one, the leaf has a broad surface because it allows space for insects to land. It can absorb lots of oxygen. It has a large surface area to absorb light. It enables the plant to control its temperature. The correct answer is the leaf has a large surface area to absorb light because light is essential for preparing their own food.